Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well, and it's almost the weekend. Yeah, today's Friday and the week has been going so fast, and I don't know, maybe it's because we've got nowhere to go and it's just waking up, sleeping, doing some work and things like that. But welcome back. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And my name is Esther. I'm a third year pharmacy student at University of East Anglia, and today I will be sharing a very special topic that I've had a lot of people ask me on my Instagram page, and it is how I study or memorize the top 100 drugs as a pharmacy student. I don't know if at your country or university you have to learn the top 100 drugs. At my university, there's this thing called the top 100 drugs, which every pharmacy student before the end of their degree or before they complete the whole degree, they need to know all these 100 drugs, and it ranges from antibiotics to pain relief to antihistamines, name it, to some cytotoxic drugs, etc. like that, to know. And it's just something that when you get hacked straight away, you can easily know what the drugs are, and if you know an example of a drug in that range, you can know what other types of drugs under the same section, what they mean. So, and for us, we always get examined on them every year. So this year, as I'm in my third year, I have to know 80, which is all the ones I've learned from first, second, and then all together with one I have to learn in third year. So which is why I always say that it's always beneficial to learn it every year instead of just ranging it through and just like trying to get yourself out of it, because every year it piles up if you don't learn it. So this video I'll be sharing with you how I learn my top 100 drugs, and the tips and tricks on how I get around it, and like I said, memorization works for me and how I memorize them. So it's just simple things that can easily help someone, because to learn 100 drugs, to learning every aspect of a drug is a lot, and I don't think anyone will be able to memorize a whole 100 drugs on their head. So without further ado, let's get started. So I made a note about the things I would like to talk about, so you might see me looking up and down through this video, but yeah, it's just so I could remember. From my university, another thing my university did was they made an app called the Pharma Quest. I will link, I'll put the picture somewhere on the screen, and you can access it if you are in any university of United Kingdom. You can access the place, and you get some drugs free that you can learn. But if you want to learn the top 100, which is essential for the General Pharmaceutical Council that we need to know, then you pay $2.99 one-off, and that's it, you are up for it. And so I don't know if you can see, but I will try and record my screen as well, so you can also see how this goes. This is the top 100 drug, and it's literally, you can browse all drug, and it has all the list of the top 100 drugs that they would like you to know throughout your whole degree. There are common drugs that is used in the hospital, and also that, and the main reason is that you have an idea of it's a second nature to you when anyone asks you about these drugs and things like that. So that is what they are. I paid the one of $2.99. That's why I have access to the whole 100, and you can just learn about it. So for example, if I would like to go for a cyclover, and that is an antiviral drug, I think here it's an antiviral drug, and it is used, so it is listed in a way that you need to learn, that you need to know about it. Like, for example, what is this medication used for, what is the method of action or the mechanism of action, what are the common contraindications of these drugs, the common side effects, and the formulations, and the points of interest, the common interactions, and common used drugs in the same class. Those are the subtopics you need to know per drug. So now imagine having to learn at least 6 of all these for each drugs. That's going to take you a lot of time to actually learn and memorize. So what I do is that first thing I do is I abbreviate every subtopic of things I need to learn for that drug. So for example, for common indications rather, I would say that is CI, method of action MOA, common contraindications CCI, common side effects CSE, formulations F, points of interest is POI, common interactions, I'll put CIN, and commonly used drugs in the same class, I'll just put other drugs. Simple, and that's it. And the good thing is that you also have the chemical structure of the drug below, so you can actually see how the drug looks like chemically. After learning all those abbreviations, and this is because it's easy for me to, once I get asked the question, I can just quickly remember, oh, the MOA for this drug is this, or the common contraindication, the CI for this drug is this, or formulations, tablets, capsules, things like that. It's easily works for me. So that's the first thing I always do. And then the second of all, which is something that I really struggle with, is trying to learn the method of actions, because it's a lot. There's so many words that you kind of struggle to pronounce yourself, and to even have to learn the spelling, that takes long, and you have other exams to revise for and other topics to revise for. So what I do is that I look for a word that stands out in the method of action, a single word that stands out. So for example, for acyclovir, a simple word that stands out to me is the acyclo-GMP and acyclo-GTP. So I know that if I'm being examined on this drug and I see this GMP or GTP, acyclovir, on one of the options, that's the answer. That would easily help me to straight away understand that that's the answer. Of course, there are some drugs that end up having the same method of action or having the same letters that might interact. For example, ranitidine and loratadine, those two you can easily confuse yourself with it. So for loratadine, that has to do with the H1 receptors, and ranitidine has to do with the H2 receptors. You have to be very familiar with something like this, so you know, oh, if it's something that has to do with antihistamine, something that has to do with histamine or hypersensitivity, H1 receptors. If it's something that has to do with the GI system, something that has to do with the GI, the stomach, or anything like that, is the H2 receptors. So that is the way I distinguish them. After that, I then go into the common side effects. The common side effects, most of the drugs have the same side effects, most of them. What makes things easier for me is that I already know most drugs have GI disturbances side effects. So the only way I can differentiate every other drug from another drug is if there is a side effect that stands out to me. So for example, for an inhaler, a side effect that stands out to me is having tremor. So I would be able to remember that quickly, because it's not the usual, oh, this is not the usual GI disturbances, this is not the usual headaches, this is not the usual, dry mouth and things. This is tremor. So that makes me to remember. So you kind of think of the other things that's not the same as others and pick those examples as the examples you want to use to remember, because definitely when they are examining you in the exam, they would not give you something that has a general common side effect as others. They will just pick out that unique one where they know that no one actually pays attention to that unique one and everyone focus on the general one. They'll pick that unique one and ask you about side effects for that. So that's the way I learned about that. Formulations, most drugs have oral or IV, or they come up in liquids, lotions, suspension, blah blah blah. So if there's a drug, mostly most of the drugs will have their formulations to be tablets, capsules and things. But if there's a drug that does not come in tablets and it's just in IV form, it will be easy for you to remember that, oh, out of all the 10 drugs I have learned, only this drug is on IV. So that would literally just come to your, it's just become second nature to you, and you can easily remember that, oh, it's not like other drugs, it's IV, it comes in IVs and things like that. And the most important thing for us is learning how the points of interest. And this is not just because we want to know what the point of interest is, but it's to help us to counsel our patients when we give them their medications. So for example, I'm on amiloride at the moment, and the point of interest is that you need to caution this drug with other potassium sparing drugs, and cautioning elderly and patients with diabetes. You need to monitor their electrolytes, especially the potassium level. This is very, very important. The fact that if those are very important, you need to, when you're counseling your patient, you need to kind of find out that, oh, are they taking any other potassium sparing drugs? You can just ask as a question. If there's sometimes patients don't know the drugs they are taking, they just take it, they don't even know why they are taking it. So sometimes you ask them, can you please tell me the list of medications you've taken before? And then once you find the names, you can then find out which of those drugs is potassium sparing drugs, or if they are not, then good. If they are, then you might not want to give the patient the medication, or just caution them from asking, from letting their doctors know, so that doctors don't prescribe them any potassium sparing drugs. People that are diabetic as well, so you want to be like, oh, if you're diabetic, you have to be very careful taking this drug. Make sure your sugar levels are okay while taking this drug, and if there's any issue or there's any change with your sugar levels, please go to your doctor straight away, and things like that. And one of the things we also get from question is that if you have a drug that interacts with something that a patient has a condition, would you advise the patient to stop it before they see the doctor? I wouldn't say. Mostly from what I've learned is that we hardly tell the patient to stop their medication, except if the interaction is life-threatening. So what we say is that do not stop the medication until you are told to do so. But if you experience any of the common side effects, go and speak to your doctor immediately, or speak to any healthcare professional straight away. However, if it is life-threatening, like having anaphylaxis reaction, we tell the patient to definitely stop the medication and then go and see their doctor straight away. So that's what I said, it depends on the situation of what you're dealing with. So that's what you want to know as importance for the point of interest. For example, another thing is metronidazole and trimethoprim, those antibiotics. For metronidazole, patients are not allowed to have alcohol with it. Sometimes patients ask, why should I not have alcohol? And it's like, because it interacts with the effects of the drugs and reduces the effects of the drugs, so you can't really use it. And for trimethoprim, it's not safe for people that are pregnant or people that are trying to conceive. So when you're counseling your patient and you're about to give this trimethoprim, you want to find out that, oh, are they pregnant, or is there any chance of being pregnant, or any chance of trying to be pregnant? If they said no and everything is okay, fine, they can have the drug. If they say yes, they are pregnant, they can't have the drug. You have to take your drug back and send them back to the doctor to prescribe something else for them, because that's more reaction for them. So that's the main point of the point of interest, and that's the most important aspect of learning all the 100 drugs from my university. And then interactions as well. That's also one of the things you want to know, to see if these drugs interact with anything. For example, simvastatin, you can have grapefruit juice with it if you are taking simvastatin, because it reduces the effects of the drugs again. So you have to be sure. Sometimes patients question, why can't I have grapefruit juice? Simple things like, they're like, well, I know how sad it could be to you, how unpleasant that might sound, but it's for your benefit. If you want to have a full effect of that drug, then please just not take this, because then that would mix. If you are someone that you need to have fruit juice with your breakfast or with your medications anytime, try other juice. There's apple juice, there's orange juice, it doesn't have to be grapefruit juice. So that's the only things ways around it to kind of explain to your patient. So with that being said, that's actually how I learn my top 100 drugs, and it stays with me. So if you can see, I haven't said I memorized everything word for word, because I can't do that for the whole 100 and keep it on my head, obviously. But the best thing is trying to look for words that stand out to me, letters that I have not seen before, things that I struggle to pronounce myself. Those things that I struggle to pronounce myself are easy for me to remember, because I struggle to pronounce it and I struggle to spell them. So it's easy for me to remember things like that. So that is how I learn my top 100 drugs. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this is quite helpful to you. If anyone else is struggling to learn their top 100 drugs, you can try this method I'm using and see if it works for you. And if you also have other ways that you use to learn your drugs at university, you can put it down in the comment section below, so everyone can also learn from each other as well. So thank you so much for watching, and before I go, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and also share with your friends. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.